Ladies and gentlemen, the Manhattan District Attorney could very well face indictment if he utilized his office, he utilized his position in government to go after Donald Trump. If there was involvement by the Democratic Party, there are legal statutes, numerous legal statutes, that make indicting Trump an actual crime. You can't utilize local government against a candidate running for office. Can't do that. That's not fair. It's not right. It's not just. It's un-American, and it's what an authoritarian or despot or totalitarian does, utilizing the law, bending the rule of law, or utilizing the law as a manner of silencing or tarnishing or trying to destroy an opposing political campaign. This is not just, it's not right, and it's illegal. Federal judge rules Jim Jordan can subpoena ex-Manhattan prosecutor who investigated Trump. This is huge, groundbreaking news. Could lead very well to this person's indictment and the indictment of the Manhattan District Attorney and other prosecutors who did possibly, or who possibly, potentially, like the Honorable James Comey says, potentially worked with the Democratic Party to set up and go after their direct political rival in Trump. This has nothing to do with the rule of law. Okay? You could read Clinton Cash, for example, and even if 1/10 of it is true, you'd still have more crimes related to Bill and Hillary than Trump ever committed in his life. So, and that's, I think Hillary Clinton will be the 24 nominee. But you have to ask yourself, well, why are they going after Trump with a federal statute? That's why the judge ruled in favor of Jim Jordan. It is the local prosecutors who are utilizing a federal statute. It is local prosecutors who are going into the realm of the federal government, not the other way. It's not the federal government infringing upon the state. It is state or local prosecutors, city prosecutors, that are relying on a federal statute that doesn't exist. The FEC did not find Trump. The FEC did find Hillary Clinton and the DNC. Okay, so the FEC did not even find Trump. So that's a huge point here. The FEC did not find Trump. They didn't even view Trump to have committed any type of crime, even some kind of breach of protocol that would lead to a fine. The Steele dossier led to FEC violations and fines against the DNC and the Clinton campaign. So when the federal judge today ruled that Jim Jordan can demand testimony from anyone, including the Manhattan District Attorney, they're going to, this has opened the floodgates. They've crossed the Rubicon, and something you've heard a lot lately. It's a Pandora's box of problems for Democrats in New York, okay? The reason is because Cy Vance, the person prior, the DA in Manhattan prior to Alvin Bragg, he knew there was no case there. Letitia James, the Attorney General of New York, knew there was no case. The federal government, the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland, knew there was no case. They never indicted Trump, but they had to for political purposes. Trump is now defeating mashed potato brains Biden by 1.6 points in Real Clear Politics. And the Democrats are hilarious. They're like, oh, yeah, mashed potato defeated the Orange Menace. Oh, well, he has his number. It's like, well, okay, Hillary Clinton's going to be nominated. Eventually she'll be nominated. I don't think that with the job performance of Biden in the toilet, we have a catastrophe in terms of foreign policy. We will have, unfortunately, more bank runs, a stock market crash, and I've been talking about that since 2021. We had a terrible year last year in the market, but we're looking at first toilet paper runs because Democrats tanked their state economies. That was not a Trump policy. We had record low poverty, record low unemployment with Trump, record highs in household median income in 2019. Go look at the St. Louis Fed. Go look at CNN. That's according to CNN also. Okay? We had an amazing economy and amazing foreign policy. Democrats tanked their states because of you know what? Typical apoplectic reaction to everything. then caused toilet paper runs, which eventually led to bank runs because inflation went through the roof. And, of course, the Fed raised interest rates too quickly. And then now you're going to see other banks, unfortunately, according to Nouriel Roubini, renowned economist and others. And I've been saying this since 2021. But ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe to this channel right now. This is really, really huge. You know what? If you want to read my writing on The Hill, The Huffington Post, Salon, The Jerusalem Post, The Federalist, other publications, go to hagoodman.com. And if you want to become part of a newsletter, it's contactgoodman88@gmail.com. Email me there. To my super thanks, the super thanks is below. Thank you to people giving super thanks. Thank you to my new Patreons. Thank you still very much. This is a huge ruling today because the prosecutor and the DA might have, I don't know, corresponded with in some manner through an attorney, through an advocate, through an associate, through an advisor, through a public relations executive, through some middleman in between the Democratic Party and themselves, with a super PAC, a Hillary Clinton super PAC that was backing Michael Avenatti. Okay, so you have a Hillary Clinton super PAC backing Michael Avenatti. This is according to the Daily Mail, The Hill, and others. Okay, Politico. So you have a Hillary Clinton super PAC working with the lawyer for Stormy Daniels. And you have to ask yourself, gee, you think maybe there's some coordination here? It's pretty obvious that almost certainly there's coordination between the Democratic Party and local prosecutors who are lifelong Democrats. They're not even pretending to make this about the rule of law anymore. It's really interesting that in our society today, tormenting Trump, these are the morally superior, wonderful, highly educated, almost always apoplectic, but always wonderful liberal Democrats who have sold their soul to just tormenting and trying to take down Trump to ensure we have what? Joe Biden has to be, along with George W. Bush, the worst two presidents we've ever had. George W. Bush, because of foreign policy, getting us into an era of never-ending military conflict, with Biden's help, by the way. Trump coming in, reversing that, or trying his best to reverse that. You had one region of the world where he wanted to remove Americans, and he was lied to by his own Pentagon, or by individuals within the Pentagon. So, Trump is trying to reform a very corrupt system that now Biden is presiding over, and it's like we have inflation through the roof. Real wages are down. Real wages were up with Trump. When Trump left office, it was 2% inflation. In 2019, it was around 2% inflation. And Biden's policies, specifically going after oil and gas companies and states, making it difficult to extract oil and gas. When Democrats hear that, it's like they get there's a blank stare. They don't realize their policies led to this. We had 2% inflation when Biden took office. It's now 6 to 7%, and it reached 9%, over 9%. But inflation for oil and food and rent and that's far more than 6 to 7%. Okay, food inflation is a lot more. You can just tell me what you see in the market when you go to the supermarket. Okay, we have a society that is content with suffering as long as Trump doesn't tweet. We have a completely dysfunctional political system predicated upon the willingness to suffer as long as Trump doesn't tweet, because media and Hollywood will throw a temper tantrum, like this biblical temper tantrum, which is funny because they don't believe in the Bible and they just worship groupthink and a fabricated consensus and their own little sensibilities. They're fabricated, contrived sensibilities. Oh, it's Trump. Oh, but Biden goes after a reporter. Biden does this or that. He's accused of everything under the sun. That's not a problem. Trump is worse. And then we find out, well, Trump wasn't an operative of the Kremlin. None of those things were true. Just like this indictment has nothing to do with reality. It's purely political. Jim Jordan will find that out. Give me your thoughts below. I'll be back in an hour, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.